I never expected a simple idea to destroy my life, then rebuild it stronger than before. After 5 years at Horizon Tech, my innovative security protocol was ready to revolutionize our industry and secure my promotion. My heart pounded with anticipation as I organized my notes that morning, rehearsing key points one final time. I watched my boss David smile encouragingly from across the conference room, unaware that within 24 hours, everything I had worked for would be stolen from beneath me. If you are watching this right now, drop a comment letting me know where you are tuning in from. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more stories about overcoming betrayal in the corporate world. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I straightened my navy blue tie and smoothed down the wrinkles in my button-up shirt. The boardroom slowly filled with executives in tailored suits, their expressions neutral, as they took their seats around the polished mahogany table. 5 years earlier, I had joined Horizon Tech as a junior developer, with nothing but a computer science degree and boundless ambition. Through countless late nights and sacrificed weekends, I had climbed from entry-level programmer to senior security architect, earning respect from my colleagues and recognition from management. My journey at Horizon had not been without guidance. Marcus, the former head of security, who had retired just 6 months earlier, had taken me under his wing from day one. A brilliant mind, with silver hair and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, Marcus recognized my potential when others saw only inexperience. I still remember his words during my first performance review. The winter sun cast long shadows across his office as he leaned forward, fingers steepled beneath his chin. His voice carried the weight of 30 years in cybersecurity as he told me, "I see something special in you, Jake. You think differently than the rest of us. Trust that instinct." Those words became my mantra through difficult projects and impossible deadlines. When Marcus announced his retirement, he recommended me for promotion to his executive team. Though I was passed over for David, an external hire with impressive credentials, I remained optimistic. David seemed supportive of my ideas, especially when I began developing the adaptive security protocol that I believed would transform our company. The ASP, as I called it, was revolutionary in its approach to threat detection. Traditional security systems relied on known threat signatures, leaving gaps that sophisticated hackers could exploit. My system used artificial intelligence to identify anomalous behavior patterns before they manifested as attacks. In testing, it had proven 98% effective against zero-day exploits, compared to the industry standard of under 60%. I had assembled a small but dedicated team to help refine the concept. Allison, our brilliant data analyst, whose fingers flew across keyboards with mesmerizing speed. Thomas, the network specialist, whose methodical mind caught details others missed. Jennifer, the junior programmer, whose fresh perspective often led to unexpected breakthroughs. Together we worked tirelessly, believing our efforts would benefit both Horizon Tech and our careers. The morning of my presentation arrived with perfect April weather sunshine streaming through windows and cherry blossoms visible from the 32nd floor conference room. I arrived 2 hours early to set up, running through my slides one last time and checking the demonstration environment. As 8:30 approached, something felt off. David entered looking unusually tense, avoiding eye contact as he arranged papers at the far end of the table. The executive team filtered in their expressions unreadable, as they exchanged whispers I could not hear. By 8:45, everyone was seated. I stood confidently, launching into my carefully rehearsed introduction. Our company faces unprecedented security challenges in the digital landscape. Today, I present a solution that will not only protect our clients, but position Horizon Tech as an industry leader in adaptive security. I expected to see interest spark in their eyes. Instead, confusion clouded their faces. The CEO, Patricia Wilson, glanced at her notes with furrowed brows. Something was deeply wrong. 15 minutes into my presentation, as I prepared to demonstrate the system, David cleared his throat loudly. "I believe there has been some miscommunication, Jake." He spoke with practiced calm. "The approach you are suggesting diverges significantly from the direction we discussed with the executive team yesterday." My hands froze over the keyboard. What meeting yesterday? I had received no calendar invitation, no email mentioning any executive discussion about my project. As David continued explaining how my presentation did not align with company priorities, the truth dawned on me like ice water down my spine. The executives were not confused because they did not understand my idea. They were confused because they had already heard it. I stumbled through the remainder of my presentation, my confidence shattered. When I finished, the room remained silent, until Patricia thanked me curtly and suggested we table further discussion until next week. The executives filed out, leaving me alone, with the lingering scent of expensive cologne and betrayal. The following morning, I arrived at work determined to understand what had happened. The answer came from an unexpected source. Allison caught me in the break room, her voice hushed as she poured coffee with shaking hands. "David presented your exact protocol to the executive board yesterday afternoon," she whispered, eyes darting toward the door. "He called it the predictive security framework. Every detail, every innovation, everything we built together, he claimed as his own work." My coffee mug nearly slipped from my grip. "Are you certain?" Allison nodded grimly. "I was called in to provide supporting data, not knowing what was happening. When I saw your slides with different headers and his name in the footer, I nearly spoke up, but she trailed off, the implication clear. Righteous anger surged through me. I marched directly to David's office, pushing past his assistant, who attempted to block my path. I found him on a conference call, his feet propped casually on his desk. At the sight of me, his smile vanished. "We need to talk." I barely recognized my own voice, tight with suppressed rage. He excused himself from the call and closed his office door. "Listen, Jake, this is simply how business works." His tone was patronizing, as if explaining something to a child. "Your ideas were good but needed refinement and proper presentation. I simply ensured they received the attention they deserved. You stole my work," I stated flatly. "The ASP was my creation. My team developed it under my leadership." David leaned forward, his friendly facade evaporating. "Can you prove that?" His smile turned predatory. "All documentation lists me as project lead. Your contributions are noted as supportive development only. If you pursue this, remember that questioning leadership decisions could be construed as insubordination." A pause as he examined his manicured nails. "Grounds for termination, particularly for someone on performance review." The threat was unmistakable. I left his office in stunned silence, my mind racing. That afternoon, I attempted to schedule meetings with Patricia and other executives, only to find myself blocked at every turn. Suddenly, my calendar was filled with mandatory training sessions and low-priority assignments that kept me from the executive floor. Over the following weeks, the office atmosphere transformed. Colleagues who had previously sought my input now avoided eye contact in hallways. Conversations stopped when I entered rooms. Even Thomas and Jennifer distanced themselves, though their apologetic glances spoke volumes about company pressure. Only Allison maintained contact, passing information during coincidental encounters at the coffee machine or parking garage. Through her, I learned that David had been fast-tracked for promotion to Chief Security Officer, based largely on the brilliance of his predictive security framework. Each day brought new humiliations. My access to the security development servers was revoked for procedural reasons. My team was reassigned to other departments. Projects I had led successfully for years were transferred to junior managers who struggled to maintain their trajectories. During this time, I meticulously documented everything. Every email containing my original ideas, time-stamped code, commits meeting notes where I had presented concepts to my team months before David appeared. I backed up these records to personal storage and printed hard copies, sensing the storm approaching. My personal life suffered equally. Sleepless nights left dark circles under my eyes. Friends stopped calling when I repeatedly canceled plans to work on my documentation. My girlfriend of 2 years, Rachel, initially supportive, grew frustrated with my obsession with workplace justice. After one particularly heated argument where she suggested I simply find another job, we agreed to take a break that ultimately became permanent. 3 months after my failed presentation, the other shoe dropped. My quarterly performance review, previously filled with commendations, now contained criticisms of my team collaboration, attitude, and productivity. Projects I had been systematically excluded from were listed as responsibilities I had neglected. The final page recommended performance improvement monitoring, the last step before termination. The following Monday, I arrived early, planning to submit my evidence to Human Resources before their morning meeting. As I stepped off the elevator, the head of security waited with 2 guards. My access badge was confiscated. I was escorted to HR not as a whistleblower, but as the accused. The termination meeting lasted precisely 15 minutes. No opportunity to present evidence. No chance to defend myself. Horizon Tech thanked me for my service, handed me severance paperwork, and watched as I packed 5 years of my professional life into a cardboard box. By noon, I sat in my apartment, surrounded by mementos of a career that had evaporated. My security badge, now deactivated, seemed to mock me from the coffee table. The rain that began that afternoon matched my darkening mood, as I realized the true depth of my situation. Not only had I lost my job, but David's theft had poisoned my professional reputation. Reference checks would go through him. Industry contacts would hear his version first. The severance package would cover 3 months of expenses if I was frugal. The job market for security specialists was competitive, but required strong recommendations. My carefully constructed life began unraveling with frightening speed. August found me living in my friend Steve's spare bedroom. My apartment surrendered when funds grew too thin. The sleek furniture and designer clothes that had symbolized my success were sold or stored. Job applications vanished into digital black holes. When interviews did materialize, they ended quickly after reference checks. Depression settled over me like San Francisco fog, thick and isolating. I stopped checking email, let my phone battery die for days at a time. Steve, concerned but unsure how to help, left healthy meals outside my door that often went untouched. On a rare venture outside, I found myself at Bayside Park, staring across the water at the Horizon Tech building gleaming in the distance. The irony was not lost on me that their headquarters remained protected by outdated security protocols, when my solution could have made them impenetrable. Perhaps that explains why I did not immediately recognize Walter Green when he sat beside me on the bench. As former chief financial officer at Horizon, Walter had retired shortly before I was terminated. His face, once familiar from company meetings, had softened with retirement. His corporate attire, replaced by casual khakis and a Stanford sweatshirt. "Jake Thompson," he said, surprise evident in his voice. "I heard you had left the company." Something in his tone suggested he knew more than those simple words conveyed. Our conversation began awkwardly, but soon flowed with unexpected ease. When he suggested continuing over coffee at a nearby cafe, I agreed, having nowhere else to be. Over steaming lattes, Walter revealed the corporate politics I had never fully understood. David had a history at his previous companies, a pattern of appropriating subordinates' work. His impressive resume was built on claimed innovations that were never actually his. "You are not his first victim," Walter explained, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. "But you might have been his most significant. The security protocol you developed was truly groundbreaking." "How do you know it was mine?" I asked, surprised by his certainty. His smile carried a hint of sadness. "I attended both presentations." The difference between someone presenting their own brilliant idea and someone reciting stolen concepts is subtle but unmistakable. David knew the words, but not the music, if you understand my meaning. As afternoon stretched into evening, Walter shared more. 3 other employees had left under similar circumstances in the 18 months since David joined Horizon. Each had developed promising innovations that mysteriously became attributed to David. Each had faced performance issues after challenging him. Something changed inside me during that conversation. The helplessness that had paralyzed me for months transformed into resolute purpose. If David had done this repeatedly, he would continue victimizing others unless someone stopped him. That night, I returned to Steve's apartment with renewed energy. I showered, shaved the beard I had grown in my depression, and opened my laptop for the first time in weeks. The documentation I had meticulously gathered remained intact. With fresh eyes, I began organizing it differently, not as evidence of personal wrongdoing, but as proof of systematic intellectual theft. Over the following days, I reached out to the former employees Walter had mentioned. 2 responded, cautiously agreeing to meet. Their stories mirrored mine with chilling similarity. Together, we compiled a more comprehensive record of David's pattern, supporting each other through the emotional process of revisiting our professional traumas. Simultaneously, I returned to my adaptive security protocol, not merely restoring it, but enhancing it. Without corporate constraints, I reimagined aspects I had previously compromised to fit Horizon's infrastructure. The system evolved into something more elegant, more powerful than its original form. September brought unexpected opportunity. CarverSec, a rising security firm and Horizon competitor, announced an innovation challenge with significant prize money and potential employment. With nothing to lose, I submitted my enhanced protocol under my own name, including comprehensive documentation of its development history. The initial response came within days. Not merely acceptance into the competition, but a direct call from Sophia Carver herself, the founder and CEO. Her reputation for technical brilliance and ethical leadership was legendary in security circles. The meeting at CarverSec headquarters differed dramatically from my experience at Horizon. Rather than a formal presentation to distant executives, Sophia requested a working session with her top engineers. For 6 hours, we dissected my protocol, tested edge cases, and explored implementation scenarios. I presented not only my technical solution but also evidence of its misappropriation, explaining that similar principles might already be in development at Horizon under different branding. Sophia listened intently, her expression darkening as she reviewed the documentation. Intellectual property theft is not merely unethical, but potentially criminal, she stated when I finished. Beyond the competition, would you be willing to provide testimony if legal action becomes necessary? My affirmative answer sealed a partnership I had not anticipated. Within 2 weeks, I received dual offers prize money for winning the Innovation Challenge and a senior position at CarverSec, implementing my security protocol across their client base. October brought the first industry conference since my termination. Attending as CarverSec's new director of adaptive security felt surreal after months of unemployment. More surreal was spotting David across the exhibition hall, now sporting the title of Chief Security Officer on his Horizon badge. Our eyes met briefly. The flash of recognition and alarm on his face suggested news of my professional resurrection had reached him. I maintained my composure, turning back to the potential client I had been speaking with. That afternoon, I presented CarverSec's new adaptive security protocol to a packed auditorium, my confidence restored, as technical questions received thoughtful answers. Industry analysts in attendance published favorable reviews, noting the revolutionary approach to threat detection. The market responded accordingly. CarverSec stock rose 15% in the following week. New client inquiries doubled, many specifically requesting the adaptive security solution. Meanwhile, Horizon Tech struggled to explain why their similar but less effective predictive security framework had fallen behind competitor offerings. The truth emerged through unexpected channels. A routine security audit at Horizon revealed inconsistencies in development documentation. Internal investigation uncovered the pattern of appropriation, not just with my work, but across multiple projects. When faced with mounting evidence and potential legal action, Horizon chose damage control over denial. David was quietly removed from his position, though public announcements cited personal reasons for his departure. More significantly, Horizon reached out to former employees affected by intellectual property issues, offering settlements in exchange for confidentiality. I declined their offer, preferring to build my new career on transparent foundations. The financial compensation was less important than public recognition of my innovation and restoration of my professional reputation. 2 years have passed since those turbulent days. CarverSec has grown from promising startup to industry leader, with our adaptive security solutions protecting government agencies and Fortune 500 companies alike. My team has expanded to 30 talented engineers, each recognized and rewarded for their contributions. The office culture I cultivated deliberately contrasts with Horizon's competitive environment. Innovation receives proper attribution. Collaboration trumps internal competition. Junior team members receive mentoring similar to what Marcus once provided me, ensuring knowledge transfers ethically between generations of security professionals. David eventually found employment at a smaller firm, though at significantly reduced status. Industry whispers suggest his reputation never fully recovered his recommendations, now viewed with inherent skepticism. I take no pleasure in his downfall, but recognize the necessary consequences of unethical actions. More meaningful are the changes implemented across the tech industry following our case. Several companies established clearer intellectual property protocols and whistleblower protections. Professional organizations developed ethical guidelines for management of innovative ideas. What began as personal injustice catalyzed broader improvements in corporate governance. I sometimes reflect on the painful journey that brought me here, the depression that nearly consumed me, the financial insecurity that threatened everything I had built, the isolation when colleagues turned away. Each represented necessary destruction before rebuilding stronger foundations. The most valuable lesson was not about technology or business, but human resilience. When everything external was stripped away, I discovered internal resources I never knew existed. The ability to start over, the courage to stand alone, the persistence to rebuild from ashes. Success is not measured by titles or salaries, but by alignment between your actions and your values. True security comes not from external validation, but internal integrity. The innovations we develop may protect digital assets, but the principles we uphold protect something far more valuable: our humanity. Have you ever faced betrayal in your professional life? How did you handle it? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more insights about navigating career challenges with integrity. Remember to share this video with anyone struggling through workplace difficulties. Sometimes knowing others have overcome similar situations provides the hope needed to persevere. Thank you for listening to my journey from betrayal to breakthrough. Wishing you strength and integrity in your own professional path.